And this controversy is up for our last topic. Techsgate on Ocean Drive. I'm actually starting to have a lot more fun with these rundown titles. I don't know if you've noticed. Um, I don't know. I just am. Techsgate on Ocean Drive. So 2 years ago, about 2 years ago, it was the Nikki Beach Club, which is on First and Ocean, I believe, right there behind Joe's Stone Crabs. If anybody who's watching the show not from Miami, all the way down in South Point, you have South Point Park, which is a beautiful park, and then in here, all the beach access, like you have public beaches, all the sand, as far as you can see, the beaches are public, but beach access is private, right? So if you have all these residential buildings in a line, well, only the people who live in these buildings are going to really have access to the beach unless somebody goes on beach access and goes around the buildings. They can sit on the sand wherever they want. Well, if you go to South Point, where you have all these hotels and you have a lot of public beach access, there's a place called the Nikki Beach Club. It's been there for years. Uh, the operation of this beach club has been bid out by the city of Miami Beach for years. And the incumbents of this were one family. And, well, just recently, in the last 2 years, a new family had submitted their bid to take control of Nikki Beach Club because ultimately it's apparently a pretty lucrative business. Well, lo and behold, there was some, and I've already cursed a few times on this show, so what the heck, fuckery was about. Um, some text messages resurfaced because the incumbent family, and I'll just say them, the Penrods, they claimed foul in the bidding process. The city of Miami said that they submitted their bid too late, which they did. However, it was like a minute too late. And I get it. If you have protocols and somebody wants to submit a bid, you have to submit a bid prior to the cutoff, right? But that wasn't the whole story, and it smelled fishy when I read about it a few years ago. And now I think since the family, the incumbent family, the Penrods have complained, these text messages have all come into discovery. Florida Sunshine Law. If you are a public official, guys, seriously, do not, or please continue to, because it's amazing for us to read this. But all of your electronic communication is an email away from me. Peter and I are happy to pay for it. We'll pay for it. You guys can just take all the little coins and crap out of our pockets. But all of your electronic communication is discoverable. Text messages, emails. Don't put anything in there. Or do. Because if you do, then we're going to get stuff like this. And Peter, do you know anything about it while I pull this up?
Yeah, to give people sort of context. So down there at the southern end of South Beach, when I got here in '93, you didn't go south of Fifth. Why? Because it was like no-go zone. It was real sketchy. South Beach was sketchy, but south of Fifth was terrible. So this group goes forward and they lease out the space and they actually create a jewel in an area that nobody wanted to go. A buddy of mine, he was an author, a writer. He was in Miami spending some time, and hit the cheapest places around were south of Fifth. Now it's turned into the
Right
most
there. Look
wealthy
at that.
area.
It's a great
Yeah, yeah. So
spot.
yeah, but the longest time it was no go. It was no go at all. When it was just the South Point Tower, which is this older building, there was nothing else around there. And so this family goes in there. They create the business. They get it going. They have a tragedy where the daughter dies. They rename the place after the daughter, hence the name Nikki Beach. And they
Wow,
build up
that's
an
the context that
institution.
I wanted.
Yeah. Now they build up this institution. Think of any institution wherever you live. If you live in South Florida, maybe it's like something like John Martin's. Remember that was the Irish bar in the Gables,
Yeah.
or maybe it's someplace in the Grove or whatever. There's these institutions that are just around. And now because it's so lucrative, a group parachutes in. And this group that's involved with all these restaurants and these, $50 chicken parmesan dinners,
50,
they come
50
in
a
and there's
person.
yeah, well, that's what I mean. $50 a person. So now they're throwing around cash. They're greasing whoever they need to get greased, or they're making people feel special. And lo and behold, they want to steal away the business, the institution, the vibe that was created after decades and decades and decades of work simply because of some delay, administrative technicality that something wasn't submitted on time. So, dude, this is completely slanted. This is completely subjective. And if anything, you need to give points when you're evaluating these contracts to the group that actually set it up when nobody else wanted the hell to go in there. And this was a no-go zone,
Yes.
and South Beach was begging. They were begging for investment to the point where a lot of people probably don't realize this. There is a development. There's two developments south of Fifth, which is, again, high-end real estate. This is where you have Continuum and you have the
The
Milano. There's
apogee.
two Yeah, there's two buildings. One projects. One's called the Courts. The Courts was funded by the city to try to spur development. It was effectively workforce housing. It was built. It's condos, but it was that type of because nobody would go in there and invest. Now it's turned into something. And what are they doing? They're trying to elbow out all the old school people who actually went in. They were the pioneers. They set it up because somebody throwing around some cash or greasing whoever to kind of make it happen. So this is complete travesty to take this away. It's